News Talk 550, KFYI, the Valley's 2016 election headquarters. Chris Merrill here, and joining me is Lea Marquez-Peterson, and Lea is the chair of Protecting Arizona Jobs. Now, we've talked to people on Prop 206 before that were in favor of Prop 206, but you are kind of part of the group that's sort of under the umbrella of the Arizona Chamber of Commerce that's saying this may not be a very good idea for the Arizona economy. So I want to give you an opportunity to kind of state your case and then expand upon that. So Prop 206, for people that are unfamiliar, raises the minimum wage incrementally up to eventually $12 an hour in 2020. It also adds paid sick leave that would accrue at a minimum rate of 1 hour for every 30 hours.
Right.
Worked.
Absolutely. So this campaign was launched by our Arizona Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and I'm actually the president of the Tucson Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So together we represent about 1,800 member businesses throughout the state, and very concerned, I'll tell you, Chris, about Prop 206. What it does is it raises minimum wage by 49% and mandates paid sick leave on even the smallest business. There's no exemption if you're rural. I mean, we know the economy in Phoenix area might be a little stronger than that in Safford or Douglas or Nogales, some of the communities I represent. Yet regardless of the size of the business, we're seeing the same 49% increase. This is something that will be devastating for our small businesses. Most of my member businesses have 25 employees or fewer, and they are talking to me now about cutting shifts, laying people off, cutting hours, talking about if they are having to hire someone at $12 an hour as an entry-level kind of training wage, they're going to be looking towards folks that have more skills. They won't probably rely on a college-age person or a high school-age person. So we're talking the impact on our youth in terms of unemployment. There are just some pretty negative effects of increasing the minimum wage in this way and kind of forcing it on the small business community.
So many of those that argue in favor of Prop 206, raising the minimum wage, would say, listen, the economy may have come back on Wall Street, but it's not come back on Main Street. And so we've got skilled laborers that are doing unskilled work, be it working at McDonald's, Home Depot, Albertson, Safeway, whatever it might be. And so I think they're saying, listen, we've got this concern that while people are getting richer and richer, and the ceiling on earnings is getting higher and higher, the floor is not getting any higher. And so we've got a lot of people that are stuck on that floor. And their argument would be, this is an opportunity to try to help those people out, and it doesn't actually cost the businesses anything. It only costs those who are taking profits. What do you say to that?
The challenge you've got is this is not the answer. I mean, what we really need to do from an Arizona perspective is focus on getting people better educated, certified in different programs. We're, as a chamber, very supportive of career and technical education, JTED as it's called in the state. Some of those programs and different initiatives, I think, provide great service to those in our who are looking to be employed and employed at a higher wage. The minimum wage is an entry-level wage. This is something that a lot of high school and college-age students are paid. In fact, more than half the folks that are at this entry-level wage are younger than 25. We think that based on the data we've been seeing, we'll see a loss of 75,000 jobs in the state of Arizona based on an increase of 49% on minimum wage and mandating paid sick leave. You've got to think forcing the business community to do this after we've come through such a tough recession. The last minimum wage increase was 2006, I believe. And we are in a position now where a lot of our member businesses have survived this recent recession. Some are seeing some increases, which is really positive. Others are just kind of plugging along and still trying to grow their revenue base. Yet on top of that, their biggest expense line item is labor, and to see a 49% increase in that mandated on them is really going to be devastating.
Lea Marquez-Peterson is with me right now. She is representing the Vote No on 206 group. The last time that we had a vote for a minimum wage increase, you're correct, was 2006. Since then, it's been tied to an index. And that index has, the idea is that minimum wage would increase commensurate with whatever the cost of living adjustments are for Arizona. Why do you think that those on who are pro minimum wage increase would say that is not enough at this point? Why would they be saying, listen, that maybe worked in 2006 and maybe that cost of living index and that percentage was accurate then, but it's not now? Why is it not good enough now?
I think a lot of the proponents of this think that this is the way to impact poverty, perhaps in Arizona, change some of those dynamics. What they're realizing, hopefully those listening are realizing, is that a lot of our small business owners who are really going to be devastated by increasing the minimum wage at this point, this will help the very people they're trying, this will hurt the very people they're trying to help with passing a Proposition 206. The case related to increasing minimum wage and why they think this will make a difference now just really doesn't stand on its own. We're in a different economic situation. It's been more than a decade since the increase in minimum wage has occurred, like it did in 2006. The CPI, or Consumer Price Index, that it was tied to was something that they felt would be enough at the time. I think a lot of our small businesses that we work with don't pay minimum wage, they pay higher, but you're looking at a wage compression effect. If you're paying someone $12 an hour now to work the front counter, or perhaps they're doing bookkeeping or different things like that for you, and the minimum wage at entry level training comes up to $12, you've got to then move your employee up to $14, $16 an hour to account for that change. So we're going to see dramatic shifts in how a business can survive and the hours perhaps they work. We're also concerned about inflationary pricing. I've got some restaurants telling me they're going to see an immediate 25% increase in their retail prices just to be able to cover the cost of the increase in the wage. This goes up very dramatically too. It's not $12 the minute we vote, obviously, but it goes to $10, then $10.50, and then so on. But within 4 years, it's gone to $12 an hour. For restaurants, it is a $3 differential, so they'll be paying $9 an hour. Plus tips for restaurant workers, waiters, and waitresses. What I find as I'm running around the state talking about the negative effects of Prop 206 is that most business owners are not aware, don't know that this is happening, don't know that we'll be voting on it. I'm so appreciative that you're covering it on your show. We are in the middle of a presidential election that's been really crazy, and a lot of people, we hope everybody gets out to vote, but those that do vote are going to look at the top of the ballot, kind of that presidential election and all the stuff going on, but oftentimes don't look down the ballot at all the different races and certainly the propositions. So we want to just create awareness, make sure that especially the small business owners and others throughout the state are aware of Proposition 206 and how we think it's really going to hurt our business community.
Lea Marquez-Peterson, Chair of Protecting Arizona Jobs and the CEO of the Tucson Hispanic Arizona Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you so much for being on the program. I think you did a great job of stating your case here. And like you said, hopefully people are paying attention down those ballots. These propositions, and I've said this all along, these propositions impact people so much more than, whether or not you vote for the D or the R at the top of the ticket.
Right.
You've got all those different balances in Washington, but here this stuff has immediate and instant impact on us. So.
It does. And thank you, Chris. And I want to invite your listeners to go to protectazjobs.com, protectazjobs.com, and learn more about the effect of increasing minimum wage in this fashion. And we hope everybody votes no on Proposition 206.
All right. Lea Marquez-Peterson joining me here as we continue the Valley's 2016 election headquarters, News Talk 550 KFYI.